Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whichever time zone you are in. How are you doing today? We have more Super Metroid Randomizer League action going on today. It's week 5 settings, so we got Chozo, we got Boss Shuffle, and we have two teams that are playing their game 2 of this week. And joining me on comms today is Kip, the one, the only, the tournament winner, all-around great guy. How you doing today, Kip?
I'm great, Lenifus. Thank you for joining me on the commentary. I'm excited. Week 5 is a really interesting set of settings. I think it sort of presents a really interesting style of play relative to the other ones, which I think is actually cool. So I'm excited to see these two players race.
Same, same. Uh, Fester, of course, with Tenacious 3. We got Rogue DSO with Remembered Highway. Both teams really need a win. Fester definitely needs a win more for his team more than Rogue DSO does. Rogue DSO, uh, Remembered Highway's probably out of the playoff hunt at this point, but that's not to say they can't play spoiler. So Rogue DSO looking to get a win today. Uh, so with Chozo, of course, Morph Ball is always going to be its vanilla location. All of our Chozo statues are going to be our progression today, for this week. So, Kip, what kind of seed do you think we're going to get today?
Well, that's a good question, Leno. I've been talking about week 5 settings for a while in the chat for the week, and I really like them. I will admit up front, I actually like area, like full area mixed with Chozo a little bit better. I actually feel like the way area interfaces with Chozo is really interesting, but I still think the vanilla map is kind of neat with Chozo. And the ball shuffle can sometimes lead to very straightforward seeds, but sometimes it can lead to like maybe somewhat linear seeds, but they're like all over the place, like having to go back and forth depending on where the bosses are and the items. So I kind of feel like there's a high variance in this mode. You are more frequently going to have faster seeds, but then you're also sometimes going to have seeds that are much slower relative to what they could have been than maybe the other ones.
Right, and last seed was actually a really good example of that, where our runners were going on a bomb hunt. But we have our Chozo power bomb right away from our statue here, and we have two autologic supers in the ceiling, and then the second missile. Both good pickups early. Our runners are really nice for ammo already, as it is.
Yeah, it's been interesting. Probably the most interesting thing to me is Chozo typically, the way that the logic works, typically does not, in my opinion, reward ammo like finishing the game with only ammo without charge. I don't think that it rewards it nearly as much as Major Minor does. And, we can all do the laughing, meme at me or whatever, because I always get criticized a lot for picking up minor
Oh,
items.
I
But
would I would definitely agree with that
but at the
assessment.
same time, I've been sort of pleased because one of my favorite things about League and these tournaments in general is just sort of seeing like the different strategies and metas people come up with, and I have noticed a ton more minor item pickups in Chozo, and I got to admit, a lot of it has worked. So I've been really interested to sort of see how people have creatively come up with solutions because if charge is in a bad place, even in Chozo, ammo works really well.
Yep, I mean, we just saw Charge Beam was at Shack Tool with the previous seed, but ammo was everywhere. This was last seed was clearly an ammo go mode type seed. So far, we have a decent amount of ammo already to start. We might see a repeat of that, but that could quickly change. You never know. Sorry,
Yeah,
go ahead.
plus, one thing, this is, I guess, a personal preference, but I've kind of joked about this a lot, but I'm sort of being serious. Like, I think one of the most overpowered items in Super Metroid Randomizer is actually the Super Missile. And so when you get like 2 packs right away at the very beginning, you're really like, I mean, you're already a third of the way towards killing Ridley, which helps a lot with ball shuffle. So
Mm-hmm.
getting a bunch of super packs early certainly makes things a lot more flexible.
Yep, and let's see here. Fester 88 going to 230. This is, of course, the next logical check in the chain, and Rogue DSO right behind. This is one you'd want to see, but we only get a Spazer. Never turned down beam damage, but this is probably not what our runners wanted to see this early.
Yeah, you'd probably prefer to get a stronger item, but we have seen a few seeds this week end without plasma, and Spazer can certainly help.
If it ends up being their only beam, they will not say no to that, but they're probably not looking at Spazer right now. They probably would have seen, or what would have liked to see, a Chozo missile, their second Chozo super, an energy tank, whatever, anything that would have been better.
I will say again, Space Jump is a great find early. Like, well, we could go into the tier list of items all day long, but yeah, Space Jump, particularly early in a seed, and actually, this is a little bit ironic. I think Space Jump is actually stronger in Chozo, slightly, than like full or major minor, because of the way you typically will run into your suits, and especially with ball shuffle on. There are certain elements that can come in play where Space Jump is really helpful. But anyway, great find. But I want to take just a moment. I'm actually not super familiar with Fester, but I have watched Rogue play, and I've been really impressed. I've actually seen a few of Rogue's races this league season, and I've been impressed with their movement. But Fester, I'm not as familiar with. Do you know much about Fester?
Unfortunately not. My team ended up facing Fester during week 1, but I haven't really seen much of Fester beyond that. Fester's teammate Gwen could probably elaborate on that a little bit more. I'm just not as familiar with some of the newer runners this league season.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, anyway, I've seen Rogue play. He's a good player. Also, really like his suit right there. And then, I'm looking forward to kind of seeing what Fester has to show to us.
And Fester decided to scout the back end of the gauntlet. We see an energy tank and a power bomb. That power bomb might come into play later. Might. That's a very small might, but it really depends on where Ice Beam is and if there's any more power bombs available later on. And now with Space Jump in tow, the game would kind of say go towards Red Tower, go towards Rex Ship, but our runners are going to go towards Green Bren. We got 3 Chozo statues this way.
The energy tanks in the minor locations is actually something that I like. Dude, this is the 5th super pack, and we haven't even seen what's at early supers yet.
Yep.
But they're going to be 25 supers before even leaving Brinstar Reserve. That's very nice. There's a good wave beam there. But they're getting equipped here to deal with all kinds of scenarios.
And Rogue DSO having a little bit of an issue with that mock ball. Let's see if we can get on the 3rd try here. There we go.
There we go. Nicely done. Gwen mentioning that Fester only started playing Rando in the past 6 months, coming from Link to the Past. I gotta say, as someone who I spent this past summer learning, the basics of Link to the Past Rando for a mentor tournament, which I had a lot of fun in. And there's a lot of gamers playing Link to the Past, so I'm not typically surprised when we see a relatively new name get, very competent in Super Metroid Rando very quickly. I think there's a lot of great crossover in terms of concepts. It's just applying the physical, like learning the tech and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you play Link to the Past, Leno, just out of curiosity?
I do. I've dabbled some in Link to the Past, a decent chunk of SMZ3. Haven't really done much Link to the Past for like the last year though. The new festive mode that was just released last week though, that's something I actually do want to try because that looks chaotic and fun.
So I'm only familiar with like the basic kind of beginner modes, but I got to tell y'all, I thought I was pretty smart until I started trying to play Link to the Past Rando, and then Maniacal and Cassidy were trying to teach me about stuff, and it was like I had a really hard time processing what they like. It's very, very complicated. You got to know a lot of stuff. So anyway, hey, this is a big power bomb find, by the way, at the charge missile, because Fester had come in here without enough power bombs to get through everything. So that's actually very, very good.
Yep. And Rogue DSO even further to that point went to the Fire Fleas to farm some power bombs because they were out and had to get some. Again, E-Tank and Big Pink.
Yeah, also, this is actually worth mentioning, I think. It's very small, but makes a difference sometimes. I've even noticed this in some of my prep, but somewhat recently, the Varia devs, for the most part, I think changed a lot of the like green, red, and maybe even some orange doors in the game. I can't remember what all, but like the ones that were normally shut, that would lead to like refills and stuff. They've actually changed a lot of those to blue. And so I've been catching myself still accidentally like super in the doors and stuff. I'm trying to get used to it, but I actually like that change a lot. And it kind of actually does have a little bit of an impact on when and where you choose to get extra resources.
Well, of course, both of us being, any percent runners and hundo runners, those are doors you just expect. So muscle memory just keeps kicking in over and over again. So that's not.
Yeah, for sure.
That's no surprise there. And we got a grapple from Spore Spawn. This is really screaming, go to X-Ray.
So listen, this is another kind of small nuance thing. Again, everybody's going to have a different perspective, but I really like grapple in Chozo. Well, let me rephrase. I like grapple in week 5 a lot because with the ball shuffle on, I can't tell you how many times in practice seeds, and I've also noticed it in a bunch of races where people get down to lower Norfair and they're about to go into the boss, but they don't know which boss it is. And so they typically will wait and like farm, like to try to get to full supers in case it's Ridley or if they need extra supers for like Dragon or something. Yep. So the grapple beam legitimately makes up a lot of time on issues like that. And it's very quick for Dragon if you get a good pattern.
Absolutely. This is an interesting decision right off the bat. Fester's going to go straight down to X-Ray. Does not scout Alpha PBs real quick. I'm a little surprised by this move. But we might see this pay off.
Still possible for... he's got the Maverick. Don't use grapple. Use the space jump. Use the space jump in the screw attack. There we go. Okay. But yeah, I don't think this is that bad. There are certain scenarios if you were looking to make a cut where you could potentially cut Alpha PBs. And one of the ways you might want to do it is by checking here first to see if you spike one of the bigger items. But then if you don't, then technically you could go back up and you only lose like, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 seconds. So it's not, I don't think this is that bad. It just depends on what they choose to do afterwards.
Yep, and we're still, of course, looking for the 2 Chozo missiles. There's, I believe all 3 energy tanks are still out there. So skipping Alpha PBs, maybe not the worst decision, but it could be one of our powerful suits that are laying up there too. And we only get the reserve from X-Ray. Runner's probably not looking to get that specifically. I wonder what Fester does after this. Oh, Fester's committing to going down. Okay.
I think this is a defensible play. Again, let me put it to you this way. It's not a play in this particular situation that I would personally make, but that doesn't mean that it's wrong. A lot of times, people kind of make decisions relative to where they think they are in a particular matchup. See, this is exactly what I'm talking about.
Yep.
But I don't think it's a bad idea to skip if you believe that you want to cut something. Fester apparently, might feel like he wants to skip something, and looks like Rogue's going to go up. So depending on what's up here, it could make a big difference, or it could be a nice time gain for Fester.
It could be, yeah. And might be another aspect, too, that I was thinking about. With the grapple and space jump, it could just be that the seed wants you to go direct ship, and with Boss Shuffle, find either Vanilla Fantoon or Kraid, and then head down afterwards. It's so unlikely, though, but I could see the seed wanting the runners to do that today.
It could. You're definitely right. The only thing that is now in competition with that, it doesn't mean that you're not correct. It just means, I'm just pointing out that them putting the Various suit in that specific spot now means that a lot more locations that are Chozo are open to being non-E-tanks in Upper Norfair.
Yep.
So, I guess it just depends, though. There's still a lot of... there's that grabbing suit. Okay, this still does not mean that Fester is completely out of it, though. The danger of missing this is twofold. Number one, if Dragon is here where Fester is at Kraid, then that means that... let's put it this way. He can definitely kill Dragon with a quick grapple kill, but in my opinion, high jump bootless grapple escape is significant. Like, I have a really hard time with it.
Yeah,
Maybe other people are way better than me, but it's
oh, no,
really hard.
No, you're right. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible.
So Rogue would have a much easier time, with that. Also, if it's not Dragon, it's Ridley. But also, if it's this is not good. See, Fester
Ooh.
didn't. Fester actually could have killed Dragon Ridley by hitting Ridley with everything if he were full, but he's not. But anyway, another bad thing is if you go down and you don't get gravity at Red Tower immediately, if Dragon is in lower Norfair, that's also a problem, right?
Yeah, oh, that's right.
So it just kind of depends.
And Rogue DSO, I'm thinking this is a gauntlet play by Rogue DSO's part. I'm curious why Rogue is actually back up in criteria. I personally would have gone down, but maybe this Chozo statue is just looming and Rogue wants it out of the way. It's kind of curious what this call is here. This could be a wreck ship play. We know if Rogue goes to DSO, he won't necessarily be punished, but it may not necessarily work out for him either. Because we know Ridley is not there in the ship.
Rogue has a nice colorful screw attack there.
Mm-hmm.
I really like seeing people wear different, either just sprites or like particularly suit colors. I do think the sprites are neat too, but I really like it when people have kind of more generic Samus, but like with a different color scheme. Obviously, I'm a big fan of that too, so it's really cool to see like what all people choose to wear.
And there's the first of our Chozo missiles at the Ice Beam location.
Lenifus, Super Metroid Rando can't be. Oh, there's a Super Pack. Super Metroid Rando can't just be all Fungineer, right? We gotta have a little fashion too, right?
Right, exactly.
Got a little style points.
And there's our second final Chozo Super at the Gauntlet. So we have one more Chozo missile unaccounted for, but we still have all three of the energy tanks unaccounted for.
I think Rogue just set a world record for number of Yapping Mall grabs. And I think they were all ceiling. I think they were all ceiling Yapping Mall grabs. That was I think that was the third one.
Isn't that an actual category in extended categories? Yapping Mall?
I think it is, yeah. Here's the one question I would have about Rogue's decision to go up. Again, I think every player has to make decisions that they think work for them, and especially with Speed Booster being picked up here in Upper Norfair by Fester. So the thing about the decision to go up that I would at least want to sort of reflect on is Rogue spiked both suits. Excuse me, Rogue has one. Oh, I'm sorry, I just made a mistake. Rogue has one suit because he is not aware that Barry is at Spacer, right?
Mm-hmm.
But with one suit already, what are you going to find up here that's really going to what would you need to find to save the time that it would take to ride the elevator twice, et cetera, right?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, it would have to be something really, really good, like...
Well, first off, from his perspective, it can't be Ridley because you don't have Varia, right? So you don't want to find Ridley. So right away, you've got a 25% chance of running into a reset, right?
Yep.
But then even if you find Fantoon, Kraid, or Dragon, what item do you need to get out of it to make up for the time difference? Well, and on top of that, here's the scariest part. Sorry, Leno, this is something that's happened to me before, but I just want everybody to be aware of it. Everybody gets super hype in Chozo, especially Area, when they go to wreck ship and it's boss shuffle and they find vanilla Fantoon, right? Everybody's like, oh, nice. Y'all, sometimes that actually is the worst thing that can happen.
Absolutely. Because then you're committed to full clearing wreck ship and you may not even get anything good out of it.
Correct.
Yeah, in Rogue's case, I'm not sure, and we find the charge beam now at Speed Booster. Have we
Yeah,
seen?
this is crazy. Yeah, so right away we can see that the god route would have been just to do kind of the normal alpha power bombs, pick up, and then go down. Because then you would be literally equipped with everything you could possibly need to finish the game.
Mm-hmm.
But we do have an interesting kind of race here, and I actually think finding Kraid, as I mentioned earlier, I think this is actually better for Rogue than finding Fantoon. So
Yeah,
I actually think this is good.
Yep, and I agree with you. This will push Rogue down. He'll get his Varia suit. Might find something worthy here at Kraid's location itself.
Aussie made a really good point in chat. You know, we kind of covered the Fantoon thing being a little bit tricky because then you are already in wreck ship and might feel the need to check some stuff. But also, if Dragon is the boss up there and you can kill Dragon, that technically does open up several more, or at least one more item. You can check plasma, and you can do it early since you have gravity. So yeah, there's still. I really want to, in some ways, sorry to sound like I'm on a mission here, but I do want to defend Chozo because a lot of the discussion this week has been about how some of the seeds are straightforward, and some of them can be. However, even that style of play, I think, is actually kind of interesting relative to the other randomizers or the other modes. But also, sometimes, depending on how these bosses are shuffled up, there can be some really branching options for this.
Oh, absolutely. Now, my question for Rogue is, let's say he's going to go down towards Kraid's area. Probably. He'll see what's in the closet. Do you think he commits to a Ridley kill? He's got the ammo for it. He needs to refill on his supers, but he's got the ammo for the Ridley kill. Do you think he does it in this position?
I would. I would probably do the same thing Fester did and check the Kraid missile miner item and then save the game. And then I would basically do a refill. The interesting thing about the Kraid location is that it's really not that hard to get back to full on your ammo because you're one room away from a regular missile refill. And mini Kraid, you just reset the room a few times, and I mean, you can farm up 10 supers pretty fast.
Yep. And Fester's following the charge logic is going to go visit Crockemeyer. Both of us, of course, old school Super Metroid runners, we'd always say always bet on Croc or never bet on Croc. Fester probably hoping for a suit, but we're actually quickly running out of majors here. I don't know if we're actually going to find anything down here at Crockemeyer today.
You know what's funny, Leno? It's funny what you said about the Croc thing. It's like Croc is in Super Metroid Randomizer is a good lesson to reinforce the idea that humans remember bad things much more frequently than good things.
Yep.
Because Croc has literally won me several races. Probably as many as Croc has lost me, but I only remember the losses.
Yep. 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 Now, in Fester's case, we could find the last beam. We could get the full beam combo down here, but it could be just as simple as our last Chozo missile. We might find high jump. I mean, Fester is probably looking at the items that is available and seeing that Croc is probably more likely good than bad. That's probably why he's doing this, and I can defend that play. That's a good play in that case. But he also doesn't know where Gravity Suit is.
Right. So if Fester doesn't know this, but what I believe would be the most helpful item for Fester to find here, because there's only one major here in the Croc location, I think for him the best thing to find would be high jump boots, because not only would that sort of make his movement as strong as it could possibly be, but it would also be a much easier way of getting out of the Dragon room if Dragon is in lower Norfair.
Just our second Chozo energy tank. So we have one more outstanding tank and one more outstanding missile. And everything else is going to be a major. Either one of the convenience items, X-ray. Meridian's not looking like it's going to have too much today. Plasma could be vanilla. I mean, Plasma could be at Shack Tool. Plasma could be down at behind Ridley, which is. Oh, and I didn't catch this at first. Rogue decided to skip the crate kill area. Didn't even scout it.
Yeah, again, the reason that I would, I guess, feel like it would be a better thing to do immediately is because you already have the 2 suits
Mm-hmm.
and you have enough ammo if you just farm it up, right?
Yep.
You got to be a little careful, but again, like I realize that it might not end up being that big of a deal, but it's like if you go up there and it's a boss you can kill that has a boss reward, you're gonna have to kill them later anyway. And particularly if they're the thing holding charge or, you know, one of the great movement items, then you would have it for the rest of the run.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if potentially Rogue might be looking for more ammo just in case it is Ridley. Possibly not as comfortable with an ammo kill. I'm not entirely sure. We'll have to ask that question when we get to that point. An energy tank at Croc Escape. So our super missiles, strangely enough, have stopped showing up all of a sudden. We're still on 25. Rogue does have crate? Oh yeah, Rogue does have crate dead. That's right, because crate was in the wreck ship.
I probably would have turned around right there in Rogue's situation and picked up those 6 power bombs just to get
Yep.
back to full.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to need them for lower Norfair anyway. But, you know, then again, you can just find a pack and go pick it up. So I'm confused. Forgive me, it's going to take me a minute to look, but do you remember this is Tenacious 3 and Remembered Highway, yes?
Yep.
Which divisions are these teams in?
They are both in the Norfair division, the division I'm in. I think. Oh, wait, is Remembered Highway? Now I'm actually going to look because I'm not 100% sure on that.
Okay, yeah, you were right. So right
Okay.
now, looks like Remembered Highway, represented by Rogue over here, is looking for their first win of the league season. So that would be really exciting.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tenacious 3, which by the way, big shout out! What a wonderful team name. I love all the team names that are connected to music, and I love Tenacious D. But anyway, the Tenacious 3 are right in that mix for that 4th playoff spot in Norfair.
Yep.
Which I believe whoever gets the 4th spot there, I think they got it. They're going to end up more than likely playing my team. It's still technically possible for us to lose the 1 seed, but I think like with only 4 games to go, I think we'd have to lose like 2 or 3 of them for that to happen.
And
Yeah.
Tenacious 3 picking up the win just prior to this race. So now they really want to solidify their position, get their 4th win, and give themselves a better position, not only within the division, but just in playoff standings altogether.
Oh, big time. Yes. That I don't even think that's been added to the standings yet. But yeah, that's awesome. Because I think, did Gwen just win?
Yep, Gwen. Not Gwen. Not Gwen, exactly. Yeah, not Gwen. Not now, Gwen.
Hold on, I'm confused. I need to pull up the right teams here.
And meanwhile, Fester now has a gravity suit, and Rogue DSO now has the charge beam. Rogue DSO basically in full-on go mode at this point.
Right. So yeah, not now, Gwen. Just like an hour ago or so, picked up the win and already doing tracking. Hardworking people in the SM Rando community.
So yeah, Rogue DSO on the way to Wave Beam. It's about to get the Ice Beam. Both teams are just going to be a complete flat-out go mode once. I mean, both of them already were, but having Ice Beam is a good augment. And
Ooh, Splice Beam.
Fester's going back down, so this is a lower Norfair play by Fester. Let's see what Rogue DSO does. I have to think Rogue DSO is also going down to lower Norfair here. It just makes too much sense to do that.
This has been mentioned before, Leno, but I always crack up these rooms that Rogue is going through. I always crack up in Rando season whenever people get a chance to go through them, because like any percent new route, like you go through it every run, but you have speed booster, and the speed booster, like the lava and the speed booster, makes you move slower, right?
Yep.
But then like it's always funny when you don't have it and you're just like going super fast and it feels really weird.
And Rogue DSO, the namesake, going through Remembered Highway. When was it named Remembered Highway?
I'm sorry, what's that?
When did the community decide to name that the Remembered Highway? The route that the Rogue DSO just took.
Oh, I have no idea. It sounds like something that Tracy would say. Well, for like maybe the 10th time this week, we have people doing gravity jumps when they already have space jump and gravity. But I can't say anything because I've done this several times.
It's just like the classic doing Wavegate with super missiles when they forgot they have wave beam equipped. Definitely been there.
Oh yeah, I feel like that one is somewhat more defensible though, because for you to even have wave that early in the game is like really rare. You know what I mean?
Yep. Fester showing that, yep, got space jump.
I've been trying to resist the urge all the last 31 minutes in a row of making some kind of Fester's Quest reference. But I can't quite find the right timing to do it.
Chat believes that Rogue DSO has speed booster. I tend to agree with that because those jumps are kind of small. That's indicates that they are holding run while they're jumping with a high jump. I think Rogue DSO does have speed booster. Well, let's see here. Fester has 5 energy tanks. Rogue DSO has 4, plus the reserve. Yeah, they should be fine. That's a nice pickup at Power Bomb's a shame there. That super pack.
Yeah, it is. I want to say Dragon's going to be here, but I think I'm going to adjust that and say I think Fantoon is going to be here.
So we'll get full boss shuffle. Oh, wait, no, we'll get... that means
I think we already have full boss shuffle, don't we?
Let's see here. We got... well,
oh, we don't.
We could have a vanilla Dragon in this case.
Yeah, that's right. That's the only one left.
Of course, in Rogue DSO's case, he doesn't know that Ridley is off the table, so he might farm up to at least 30 supers for this boss.
Holy moly at the supers.
Mm-hmm. Wish I had that kind of super luck. Anyone who's ever done reverse boss order would love this super luck that Rogue DSO is getting right now.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not even going to lie to you. I'm having really bad flashbacks to the awful drops I had against Zost in the multi-category tournament in RBO like 3 years ago or whatever. If I recall correctly, it'd be hard to explain how astronomically rare this is, but I think I ended up getting like 5 regular missile drops before I even got like 5 or 6 or 7 supers. Like it was awful, like awful.
Oof. And we have full boss shuffle today. We got Dragon down here.
Yeah, here we go.
Now, this is the experience in me talking. If I were in Rogue DSO's position, I would actually move to the right of the screen and back left again to readjust the camera so you get Dragon on screen for more hits. That worked out really well in his favor there. Clean opening.
So I don't mind using ammo on Dragon, but when you have grapple, it's really nice to know how to do. Honestly, with this much energy, I might would just let her pick me up even if I didn't know the full grapple kill, because using every super that's used right here is supers that you have to get back to make the Ridley fight faster, or you just got to do new route beam fight unless you run into plasma here. So I do think you have enough energy to survive some hits from Dragon. So if you don't know the grapple, the quick grapple kill, I think it's okay to do it the sort of casual way.
Yep. And Fester's going to go for that grapple kill, and Rogue DSO now completed the fight. Let's see what's here. I'm curious if we're going to check this.
Yeah, Fester made up a lot of time right there. However, Fester does not have Kraid killed. Great high jump boot pickup there.
So now Rogue DSO is up 2 bosses to 1. Once he leaves Norfair, he'll be quickly up 3-2. So this early play at a wrecked ship, even though it doesn't seem like it, it actually seems like it's kind of paying off for Rogue DSO here, because this is going to route out pretty well in his favor, I think.
This like Kago or whatever elevator, it's not Kagos, but whatever you call those things. I think about Kagos with them because sometimes you can Kago through them, you know. But that little elevator sort of, whatever you call it, rooms can be a little tricky when you get off rhythm.
And our chat pointing out that high jump boots is basically don't check anything anymore. I would agree with that. There's still the possibility of a quick check with maybe right side super. It's close enough to be on path, but at the same time, you're hoping for exactly one item there, and it's probably not going to be that one item. So this is probably just go, 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 go. And chat pointing out you check Ridley for plasma. I would probably do the same. It is a door transition, and you can actually give some time back to your opponent if they don't check it. But I would probably defend the checking of Ridley here, just to see if it's plasma.
I actually probably wouldn't, but I don't think it's bad.
Right. Kraid's E-Tank is actually not a Chozo location in these settings. It's just going to be a minor location. So at best it'll be a super missile, but it's probably nothing major. Yeah, the Chozo location for Ridley, or not Ridley, but for Kraid is actually the item that would normally be Varia's suit. Yeah, that's going to be a major location and major minor, but that's not a Chozo location in these settings. So
It's
for Rando,
already it's overpowered in Major Minor. It would just be wildly, wildly overpowered in Chozo.
exactly, that would give Kraid 2 majors that you'd almost always want to go back for. And yeah, chat pointing out that they're still checking minor locations. They might not be comfortable with their ammo necessarily. Their charge combo right now is 300 damage with charge Ice Wave Spazer. Same as the super missile. So maybe they're just looking for more supers to augment what they got.
Yeah, I mean, both runners are definitively in 100% go mode. I don't think checking anything else is going to yield really anything that's that great.
Yeah, like it would have to be exactly plasma to even try and gain any time back from it.
Right. I think those checks are more defensible than the minor item checks right now. Again, I understand that new route beam is still only 1/3 of full, full beam combo, but it's already powerful enough with how many miners you currently already have to where you're not going to gain hardly anything from picking up any more minor items.
And Rogue DSL picking up a second reserve tank. Rogue DSO now has a very comfortable amount of energy for the rest of the game. This is 5 plus 2. It still can't do stand-up because you need like 7 energy tanks outright. But Rogue DSO should be plenty fine on energy now for the rest of the seed.
Just a quick heads up for people who are, somewhat newer to the game. The way that Fester's farming here is fine, but it's a lot faster if you have screw attack to just stand down where the bugs come out and just like screw attack every, second or so to kill them. And then you save a lot of time over the course. Like farming it this way is legitimately probably a second plus per grouping. And if you do like 20 groupings, that adds up.
Fester probably farming them in the case because Fester already knows that this is Ridley. Probably could have done the mini Kraid super farm, which is definitely a lot faster. I'm not really sure what. Maybe Fester was just going for health as well. I'm not sure.
Also, quick heads up: when you have screw attack, don't shoot mini Kraid with a super. Just screw him.
Yes. Now this is interesting. Fester must not be comfortable with what he's got because he's taking a safety save here, knowing that Ridley's already here.
Yeah, and Rogue is going to have to do some additional stuff to Ridley to finish this fight because there have been a lot of missed supers. It's not going to be that bad, but obviously every missed super is either 6 regular missiles or 2 new route beam combo shots. So this is going to get a little Okay, there we go.
Now this is really interesting. I thought Rogue DSO was going to check the item. Rogue's noping out. I applaud the aggressive play by Rogue DSO there.
I do too. Again, some of the stuff we're saying is just general commentary for reflection for later. But I think if you're going to skip that one, then you need to be skipping the other minors that they've been picking up.
Yep.
So I do like the skip. I think it's perfectly fine. But if you're kind of in that mode, you probably should skip the other stuff too.
Nice Ridley kill there by Fester. Rogue DSO up 3 bosses to 2. Aussie in chat pointing out that it looks like Rogue One has some energy tanks. That's exactly what he found. That's probably true.
Yeah, that is a good point. If you are not as experienced with the fight and feel like you might die, I do think it's good to prepare yourself for that potential. Also, another quick tip: if you're gonna kill Ridley, especially like in a rando context, I would recommend, like, if you know you got to use some of your regular missiles or maybe some charge shots, I would recommend saving the supers for the back end of the fight.
Yep.
Even if you only had to hit him like 5 or 6 times with charge shots, I'd rather do it at the beginning than at the end, because at the beginning he's moving a lot slower and he's pogoing for longer.
And Rogue DSO is going to take a bug farm before Batoon. Maybe Rogue DSO is forgetting with Dragon being dead. He can just take the tube up to kill Fantoon. And this is something that has gotten me a number of times with boss shuffle. I just forget that some new routes open up with boss shuffle. Dragon specifically, this has been one that has burned me specifically many times in the past.
Yeah, I think in this case, I think it's definitely correct. There are a few very specific circumstances where I think doing the regular route is actually okay. In fact, I remember doing it in a seed in League Season 3. It was on Major Minor, but it was boss shuffle and I already had Dragon dead. But it was related to, I think I could microwave Batoon, and I was trying to get more minor drops so I could avoid going to the ship later. So, like, it was very, very specific, but I agree with you. Generally speaking, it's perfectly fine, I think, and mostly better to go this way.
Batoon being a little bit of a jerk.
Standard.
Batoon, of course, being notoriously bad for having the worst hitbox of any enemy in the game. It is actually impossible to hit him when you want to.
One of these days, Batoon giving one player top pattern and the other one not is going to decide a race. Eventually, it's going to happen, and when that day comes, I'm going to be really salty about it. Batoon top pattern is one of the all-time run killers in low ice, and I'm not even kidding. Like, it's actually like one of the pivotal moments of the run.
And the difference between taking the tube and not taking the tube, Fester has reclaimed a little bit of a, well, not necessarily a little bit of a lead, but got to Fantoon much quicker. And this will route kind of well to get to the wreck ship, but Rogue DSO does have a little bit of an overall lead still.
Yeah, Rogue's got a pretty comfortable lead here. You know, it's definitely multi-minute, probably like 2 minutes or so. But, you know, Fester's been hanging in there, especially given the fact that Fester didn't go up immediately to find the gravity suit. Sometimes that can spell disaster, but fortunately for him, he played really well after that and just hung in there.
And to speak to one of your points that you brought up at the beginning of the game, at the beginning of the broadcast here, Jozo tends to lend itself to be generally faster. We have a really good chance of being sub-hour this seed with everything how this seed laid out.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Oh, unfortunate enrage there for Fester.
That Fantoon has like 1 hit left, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe 2.
Man, I've enraged Fantoon with 1 missile left countless times. It's not fun.
And Fester showing the ARP pumps, realizing.
There we go. Oh, almost synced up kills.
Simultaneous kills.
It's like Mario and Luigi. We got like sort of a red color on the left and sort of a green color on the right. This was a Mario movie promotion, guys. You've been watching a commercial this whole time.
Yep, definitely get your popcorn out, folks. Go see the Mario movie, or not, whatever your preference is.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get out and see it. I'm gonna see if I can get my niece and nephew to go. I don't think they're going opening weekend, so maybe I can work out something to see it with them. That'd be fun. Very nice.
Interesting. Fester decided to pick up that pack of supers at Batu's Z-Tank there.
I don't hate it. I would have liked it better if it had been on the front end. I think
Right.
it would have been a little more efficient.
Mm-hmm. That should. Oh,
that's a good point. Yeah,
that's a good point.
actually, so it was Rogue that went the other way.
Yeah. Yeah, Rogue saw it on the front end. That's
a good point.
It makes a lot of sense. You'll be yourself and 50 children. Wow, that's a lot of people to bring to a movie.
All right, so Rogue is in command right now. Fester has played well, but Rogue definitely in control of this one right now.
Mm-hmm.
Particularly with picking up or with getting the ship refill with 5535. That's going to be a lot of ammo to help with the new route beam. So the Mother Brain 2 fight will not be very extended. So unless something goes, sort of drastically wrong, at this point, Rogue would have to do something to throw, for Fester to get back in it. There's just, even though Fester's not that far away, there's still enough of a gap to where Fester can't outplay the gap right now.
Right. But if it does continue as is, Rogue DSO is going to pick up the first win for their team for league season this year for Remembered Highway, and that is definitely going to be exciting for them. Not just so they can say they got on the board, but they're going to play potential playoff spoiler. They're looking to make some noise, this week and the coming 2 weeks to wrap up the season. Yes, bombs were at Ridley.
Will it? Well, I'm hoping. I'm not. I don't ever root for either player when I'm on commentary, but if things go normally here for Rogue, I'll be really happy to see him get his first win. That's really exciting. So this is one of those moments where not having regular bombs is a little bit of an annoyance. If you accidentally have a Metroid grab in one of the Metroid rooms, you can't shake them off, so you gotta just do the slower power bomb kill. But it's not a huge time loss. Now that they've made a successful Mario movie, obviously it's going to make a lot of money, and I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun, especially for kids, but I think a lot of adults will like it too. I've always wanted them to make a Metroid movie, but I'll be honest with you, Leno, I don't have a lot of faith that they wouldn't screw it up, because in my opinion, the best way to make a Metroid movie would be to have very, very minimal dialogue. Like, I think the most of the movie should be like Samus basically by herself dealing with the environment and not even really saying anything. But I don't feel like Hollywood would ever be able to do that. You know what I mean?
No, there's no chance they'd be able to do that. They would probably force like inner monologuing if she was by herself.
Or it would be like she'd have like an intercom system, like an advanced one, like to where she could talk to whoever is, on the station or something. I just feel like it'd be better if it was a lot more atmospheric.
Like I'm trying to picture like Alien, but with like not like basically Alien, but with none of the dialogue. That's the kind of Metroid movie I'd want to see.
Or like, and I hate to say this, but it would be like they'd be trying to make it about like Samus's personal growth through the experience. It's like every movie doesn't have to be about that. It could just be like she went in there, she's a highly trained, awesome bounty hunter, and then she just like finds a way to overcome the challenges. But it's not like she grows as a person. You know what I mean? It doesn't always have to be super artistic in that way, anyway.
I have to admit, though, with how advanced visual effects have come, seeing a Metroid on screen would actually look really awesome.
I agree. Oh, it looks like Rogue is gonna bypass the Zeb skip here and unload the ammo. That is gonna slow down the Mother Brain 2 fight, not by a super ton. Also, I think I learned this from maybe Azure. I think probably the safest way to do these Zeb kills is 2 missiles and then 3 supers. If you can just kind of get the rhythm for that, I think that's typically the cheapest way to get it done and save the most ammo.
And Fester's gonna make this. Close. Assuming nothing goes wrong, Rogue DSO is going to win, but this is gonna end up being a close finish here. And yeah, chat, I think if a Metroid movie was made, I would want an independent studio to make it. I would not want a Hollywood production of it, because we already know what Hollywood would do to it. Imagine Quentin Tarantino coming to make a Metroid movie.
Yeah, that would be a little bit of a contrast of styles.
Or Chris Nolan. Imagine one of those two making a Metroid movie.
All right, we want Rogue to be careful. He does have reserve tanks, but this is getting a little bit dicey. And for those of you not in the know, trust me, Mother Brain 2 is not a free fight if you have to spend time on it.
Oh, that was a fortunate catch-up despawn there for Rogue DSO. That was close. Oh,
Oh, no.
That's really bad.
All right. No, he's
Luckily,
good. He's
yeah,
good.
he's got a reserve, so he's good. Metroid by Michael Bay? No. No, not him.
So, okay, here's the deal. I don't, it's difficult to provide commentary sometimes on different decisions because it's kind of hard to know exactly how different decisions would plan out or pan out, excuse me, over the course of a run.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously both runners do different things, etc. I will say though that I do believe that if Fester had simply just gotten the Alpha Power Bomb location at the beginning, like right away, he would have won this because the amount of time that he spent going to do other stuff and then doubling back for it later, I think is going to end up being wider than the current difference.
Yeah.
But, again, sometimes it just kind of works out that way. Alpha Power Bombs was gravity.
Yep, and Varia's suit was down at Spazer. Bolt suits in Red Tower today. Fester's got to be a little bit careful. He's getting bullied by these onion rings.
Yeah, those are the most dangerous attack, in my opinion. I think onion rings are actually more dangerous than even red beam for Mother Brain 2 if you have an extended fight because they do not grant iframes.
Mm-hmm.
And it is easier than you might think to take a straight 4 onion ring volley to the face and lose 80 energy. It happens. It's very easy for that to happen.
And nicely done by Rogue DSO. Mother Brain 3 is now down. We're going to start the escape sequence.
Ladies and gentlemen, get some hype in the chat. This is going to be Rogue's very first league victory ever. Really exciting, and this is going to be the first, I think, victory for Remembered Highway for the season, which is great to see.
Mm-hmm. Of course, as a commentator, we would always ask the question, do they save the animals? That question has outlived its usefulness. We will almost never see runners save the animals now. I would fully expect Rogue to just not do that. Because you haven't seen your opponent finish yet. You know you're on the clock. You got to go. Fester is doing lag reduction with the Hyper Beam, doing a good job of that.
I think the way the Metroid movie ends is Shacktool somehow dug its way to the surface and becomes sentient, and as Samus is jumping on the ship to leave, they give each other a respectful nod. All right, y'all, big GG to Rogue, finishing and getting the first win of his Rando League career, as well as Remembered Highway's first win of the season. Excellent race with what's the final time? I'm not in the race room.
We have a official race time GG time of 1 hour, 3 minutes, 13 seconds for Rogue DSO. Get your GGs in chat. Let's see if we can get him in here for an interview. And apparently Rogue DSO's computer froze. That's why the stream inexplicably died.
The hype was too much.
It couldn't handle it. I see Chad is coming up with bad sequels.
Right. And GG to Fester. A good race overall, just a little short on this one. But Tenacious 3 still definitely in the playoff mix with 4 games to go in weeks 6 and 7, excuse me.
Yep.
And hopefully we'll get Fester in here as well, and hopefully Rogue's computer will get fixed.
And just to make it official race time GG time for Fester of 1 hour, 4 minutes, 49 seconds. GG's to Fester. And speaking of Fester, GG's.
Thank you very much. GG's to Rogue 2. Very good race.
So what do you think of this seed?
It was really nice. A very nice seed. I'm just gutted I didn't go up for the gravity at Red Tower first time round. Otherwise it would have been a hell of a lot quicker, but hey-ho.
Sorry.
Oh, you go ahead, Leno.
I was just going to say, so if you, let's just say you go up to Red Tower then, and you get your gravity suit right away. How does that affect your routing for the rest of the seed?
I still would have gone down. I wouldn't have gone up to the wrecked ship. Just if it's not Francine, I don't see any need to go up there early. I would have carried on down through Norfair. But as for double mountain checks, I don't know. I don't know how it would have affected that if I just would have just gone straight down or not, but I certainly wouldn't have gone to Croc.
Well, Fester, I thought you played well today, and I was told, I'm not quite as familiar with all of your Rando races, and I was told that you've been playing Super Metroid Rando for, it's relatively new to you, like several months, but it's not like you've been playing for years and years. So, but we're really happy to have players like you, join the league and continue to get better. And you're a lot better after 6 months than I was, I can assure you. So tell us just a little bit about your overall progress. Like, what do you think about Super Metroid, especially after coming from something like Link to the Past?
It's the execution is my next big hurdle. I don't know. Routing is somewhat still a bit basic, but it's execution, room movement, and that's what I need to work on. But yeah, it's coming from A Link to the Past. It's been great. I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
Well, your team has been doing a good job, and y'all are in a really competitive division, and there's I think 3 teams or something, including you guys still vying for the playoffs. So I think we got 4 races left. I think next week we've got Dash Recall, which obviously I'm familiar with that since I helped create it. But then I think week 7 we got some more team action. So what are you looking forward to with the last couple of weeks? Do you guys already know who you might run out for week 7 in terms of your pairings, or are you kind of keeping it a secret?
We've got a basic plan in our head. But I don't know if the other guys want to keep it secret, so I won't say anything. But yeah, we've got our plan.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But more specifically for Dash Recall next week, actually, I'm going to pull up the schedule real quick just to see who you are facing. And you're facing PHMR Reunited next week. How do you like your chances against them?
Sorry, I didn't catch that. I do apologize.
Your week 6 matchup with Dash Recall is against PHMR Reunited. How do you like your chances against them going into next week?
Whereabouts are they? Because are they doing really well? Because if they're doing well, then
they are one of the teams tied with 3 wins with you, looking for that final playoff spot.
Could be a nice even matchup. That would be nice. It's nice to have a competitive match. That would be good fun for sure.
And now we are joined with technical difficulties by Rogue DSO. GG's Rogue.
Thank you very much. Definitely appreciate the restream and everybody involved. This was a fun one.
Yeah, big congrats on Tracy was saying, I believe it's your first league victory. That's really exciting, not only for you individually, but also for your team. So, and you played really well in this seed. It was kind of an interesting one with several decisions. Tell us a little bit about, what you were thinking as you played through it.
Honestly, after I went up and created the ship, I thought that it was over at that point, because I'm like, okay, what am I doing? I'm not going to get any of the items in the ship, and there's probably something good there. But it turns out everything we needed for go mode was outside the ship. So from there, I was like, okay, I'm going to have to just forget about charge and go full ammo. And then charge being at speed, I was like, okay, well, that kind of throws that out. And I literally thought I was behind the entire time. But I guess decisions I made paid off. I didn't have to go back up to the ship at all. So that didn't end up hurting me. And yeah, I think this is probably one of the cleanest races that I've run.
Awesome. Yeah, you did a great job. It was a really fun one to watch. So I guess just as a kind of follow-up question for what's left with the league, I think technically I don't necessarily think you guys are completely eliminated from playoff contention yet. I'd have to look and do all the numbers, but obviously you're always trying to win as many races as you can. So, with the next 2 weeks left, do you already have kind of a plan for how you're going to roll people out to cover week 6 and then teams for week 7, or is that something you're kind of keeping in the back pocket?
I don't think we necessarily have a plan yet for week 6. I think the plan for week 7 is that I'm going to be running both races, one with each of my teammates. But other than that, I'm not really certain. I am interested to give Dash Recall a try. I haven't actually had a chance to do it yet, but I think it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, I guess selfishly, I'm looking forward to it, mainly just because I want to see how people choose to kind of route it with some of the new changes. But yeah, it'll be a fun week. Hopefully people will dig the sort of different play style. But Leno, anything else you'd like to ask our 2 runners before we kind of close up shop here?
Well, I was going to ask Rogue, how do you feel specifically about going into Dash next week? Since you mentioned that you might be playing that, how do you think the changes with Dash Recall are going to be, and how do you think your chances are going to be next week going up against PH, MR Reunited? Wait, is that who you're playing? I already forgot who was playing who.
I think we played them last week.
All right, you're playing Died at the Ship next week. You're playing the Meridia Division Died at Ship.
Oh, okay. Honestly, I haven't even had a chance to even look at Dash Recall yet, so I don't even know actually what the changes are. So I'll be basically going in blind if I end up playing. I'm not sure if I'm going to be playing or not.
Okay.
Well,
if you don't
my
end up
personal
playing,
schedule is kind of weird.
If you don't end up playing, how do you like your teammates' chances going into next week then?
I think they have a pretty good chance. You never really can count anybody out in this league. I think today's really a prime example of that. And yeah, I think they'll do well. If nothing else, we'll have fun, because that's what we do. That's what we did last season. That's what we're doing this season. And hopefully we'll have a good showing.
Excellent.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. Just as a quick heads up for everybody going to be playing Dash Recall next week, in the Dash Discord, we have, and really on our website too, front page is literally a line-by-line detailed explanation for everything that has been changed specifically for it. There is a good bit of information, but once you actually get into playing it, it's not drastically different than like regular Major Minor, other than a few other options for routing and a few new items that kind of open up some different things. But anyway, yeah, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'll let sort of Leno close us out here in a moment, but I just want to say GG to both of you guys. It was a fun race to call, and also big GG to Gwen for not only tracking this, but also for winning a race earlier today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, GG, Rogan, and cheers, guys, for all your efforts. Thank you very much.
GG's to Fester, and definitely thanks to all of the trackers and commentators. I'm definitely excited to find out that Kip was commentating. He's probably one of my favorite commentators, just because we're kind of from similar areas, not necessarily the exact same area, but yeah, home team, I guess.
Sounds like you're an honorary member of Southern Route then, huh?
Ish.
Well, all right. Well, chat, if you want to see more Metroid action, not just Super Metroid, but Metroid action in general, currently in progress is the 2D Metroid Relay. I didn't even know that was going on today, but what, currently in progress is another Metroid 2 remake. We got a 3-team race that's going to be going on for at least the next 8.5 hours. But if you want to see more Super Metroid Rando League action, stay tuned, because in half an hour, we're coming back. Not me and Kip specifically, but, we'll be back, because we got... Bigos Amigos versus the Odd Trio. We got Fringo Fox versus the King of the Hill. This is going to be an exciting match. We got Salty Pigeon on comms. We got Paragon doing trekking on that one. So definitely stay tuned for that one. It's going to be a lot of fun. But Kip, anything you want to add before we get out of here?
No, man, it was fun. Thanks again to everybody, and for everybody who's been watching and showing up to these races. Keep coming out and supporting the runners. And yeah, Leno, take us home, man.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Kip, for doing comms with me. I know we haven't done this so often, but definitely had a lot of fun. Thank you so much to Not Now Gwen for doing our tracking today. But everyone in chat, everyone in YouTube in the future, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next mission.